This video is about deriving the autocorrelation function of the MAQ process. So that is the ACF of MAQ process. Now first let us start with let xt follow this MAQ process. The let xt follows MAQ. Then what is the representation? We know that xt is equal to epsilon t plus alpha 1 epsilon t minus 1 plus alpha 2 epsilon t minus 2, so on up to alpha q epsilon t minus q, right? So what is epsilon then? Where epsilon t is the white noise process, so that I denote it as epsilon t follows the white noise process with mean 0 and constant variance sigma square for all t belonging to the index set I, right? So epsilon t is the white noise process. So this expression, how I can write it in a simpler form using a summation sign. So that is xt is equal to summation I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I with alpha naught is equal to 1. So why this term is important? Because what is the coefficient of epsilon t here? It is alpha naught. That is nothing but 1. So I am writing this expression. Now what is the next step? We need to know, we need to derive the ACF of MAQ process. That is the ACF of MAQ process is, so what is the notation? So we have rho h is equal to, what is the formula? Covariance between xt and xt plus h whole divided by the variance term, right? The ACF is covariance term divided by the variance term. So this expression I am going to take it as equation 1. So now we need to know covariance and we need to know variance. So first we will find out the numerator, that is consider the covariance between xt and xt plus h. So now what is xt? If you see from here, xt is nothing but summation I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. So that's what I'm going to substitute here. So xt is nothing but I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, comma, what is xt plus h? It's the same expression where t is replaced by t plus h. So it is j is equal to 0 to q alpha j epsilon t plus h minus j, right? So instead of t I have written t plus h. Now, so I am going to make one substitution. Let j minus h be equal to L. So I am going to make this substitution, j minus h is equal to L. So what is j then? J is nothing but L plus h. So when j is equal to 0, what happens to L? L is minus h, right? When j is equal to q, L is q minus h. So this one I am going to substitute in the expression for covariance. So if I substitute this one, so what happens? So I have covariance between xt and xt plus h is equal to covariance between the first term here. The first term as it is, I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and the second term in place of j I am substituting L plus h. So here I have the L is ranging from minus h to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L, right? Instead of j I have written L. So in the next step, what I am going to do is this second term. So this second term, I am going to split it into sum of two terms. So how I am going to do that? So I am looking at the range. So this term contains the range minus h so on up to minus 1. And this term, second term contains the range 0, 1 so on up to q minus h. So this term I am going to split it into two terms. One with the negative range, another with the non-negative, that is positive range. So in the next step, I can write it as covariance between xt and xt plus h is covariance between the first term, it's as it is, I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. The second term, I am going to split it into two terms, that is L is from minus h to minus 1, minus h to minus 1, alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L plus L is from 0 to q minus h, 0 to q minus h, alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So there are two terms, right? So now what is the covariance between x and y plus z? So it is the covariance between x and y plus the covariance between x and z. So that's what I'm going to write next. So I have covariance between xt and xt plus h is equal to the covariance between first term I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and this first term, that is L is from minus h to minus 1 alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L plus, so I'm writing it down, covariance between the first term as it is, I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and this term, right? So it is L is 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So I splitted these terms into two terms. Okay, now how to proceed after this step? So after this step, there are two terms, right? So one of the terms will become 0. So which term will become 0 and how it will become 0? So to know that, one thing you should remember is, so what is the covariance between epsilon I and epsilon j? So we know that this is a white noise process, right? So if I is not equal to j, so it is white noise and uncorrelated, the covariance will be 0. So whenever I is equal to j, the covariance will be same as the variance term, so that is sigma square. So whenever I is not equal to j, it is 0. Whenever I is equal to j, it is sigma square. So in these two terms, so we should see whether the indices, whether these range are same or not. So first we'll consider this first term. I'm just highlighting it, the first term. So what are the range here? So I is from 0 to q. So 0, 1, 2, q, first term. So what is this range? Minus 1, minus 2, minus h. So this is the range of first term and this is the range of second term. So is I equal to j here? So I is not equal to j, right? When you consider the first term, and if you see the range, here range is 0 to q, here range is minus h to minus 1. So the I is not equal to j case. So what is it? The covariance will be 0. So if you see the second term is not 0 because here the range is 0 to q and here again 0 to q minus h. The range is moving in the same direction. So this term will be not 0. Only the first term will be 0. So what you can write? The first term is 0 plus the second term as it is. So I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and L is from 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So I'm moving to the next sheet. So in the next sheet I'll write the previous expression. So I'll write, so we have covariance between xt and xt plus h. So what is the last expression have? We have this expression, right? So this one I'm going to copy in the next sheet. So that is the covariance between I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and L is from 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So this is the expression I copied from the previous line. So now how to proceed? There are two cases. So I'll write case 1. So what is the case 1? The first case, suppose q minus h is less than 0. So what if q minus h is less than 0? So that is nothing but same as saying h is greater than q. So I'll write what happens to covariance between xt and xt plus h. So is equal to covariance between I is equal to 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. L is from 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L, and I'm saying that this q minus h is less than 0. So is it meaningful, this expression? L is starting from 0 and this is less than 0. So this term will be some constant, right? So there is no epsilon t satisfying this condition from 0 to less than 0. So the covariance will be simply 0. Whenever q minus h is less than 0, the covariance will be 0. This I am going to take it as equation A. Now, as you all know, the case 2 is the reverse case. So that is, suppose, so what you are going to assume, it is q minus h is greater than or equal to 0. So which is same as saying h is less than or equal to q. So now what happens if q minus h is greater than or equal to 0? So I am going to write it, covariance between xt and xt plus h. So it is covariance between, I am just writing the term as it is, 0 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. L is 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So in the next step, so you are familiar with this step. So I am going to split this term into two parts, okay? So as I have done earlier, I am going to split this term into two parts. The first one is from 0 to q minus h. So 0, 1, so on up to q minus h. And the second term is from q minus h plus 1 to q. So I am going to split it into two terms. So I am going to write it again. So covariance between xt and xt plus h, so is equal to covariance between two terms should be there. So I is from 0 to q minus h alpha I epsilon t minus I, plus I is from q minus h plus 1 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I. The second term as it is, L is equal to 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So now you all know the result. So that is x plus y, covariance between x plus y and z. So it is nothing but covariance between x and z plus the covariance between y and z. So I am going to just split the terms in the next step. So that is covariance between I is equal to 0 to q minus h alpha I epsilon t minus I, comma, summation L is equal to 0 to q minus h alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L, plus I am going to write this term down, covariance between I is equal to q minus h plus 1 to q alpha I epsilon t minus I, and the covariance between the second term as it is. So we have alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. So as you have seen earlier, one of these two terms will become 0. So we'll see how and which term will become 0. If you see the first term, so we know from the previous result, so what is it if you see here? So covariance between epsilon I and epsilon j is 0 if I is not equal to j, and sigma square if I is equal to j. So same result we are going to use here. So see whether ranges are same or not. So the first term, I is from 0 to q minus h, L is 0 to q minus h, therefore the covariance will be not 0. So here if you see what happens, so what is the range? L is ranging from 0 to q minus h. So the one term ranges from 0 to q minus h. The another term starts from q minus h plus 1 to q. So they are different, right? So the range of two terms are different. So this term will be 0. So that's what I'm going to write next. So the covariance between xt and xt plus h would be the first term as it is, covariance between I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I epsilon t minus I, and L is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha L plus h epsilon t minus L. The second term will become 0. So now what do you observe? I is from 0 to q minus h, L is from 0 to q minus h. So the summation ranges over the same set of values, right? So can you write instead of L here I also? Can you write instead of L? We can write I, right? So it is covariance between I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I epsilon t minus I. So since it ranges over the same set, so I can write it as I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I plus h epsilon t minus I. So that's what I am going to write in the next step. And now, so what is the difference between this? What is the change? What is the dissimilarity between first one and second one? Summation is same. This term, this error term or white noise term is same. Only this coefficient varies, right? So I can take covariance term inside. So I can write it as I is from 0 to q minus h, alpha I plus h. So it is covariance between epsilon t minus I and epsilon t minus I. So what is the covariance when I is equal to j? T minus I same it is. So I can write it as, it is the variance term, q minus h alpha I, okay, alpha I plus h. So it is the variance term, variance of epsilon t minus I. So what is it finally? I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I plus h sigma square. So we have covariance between xt and xt plus h as this expression. This I am going to take it as equation 2. So in the next sheet, I am just going to write the expression for covariance. The notation is gamma h. The notation for covariance, that is nothing but covariance between xt and xt plus h. So what is the overall expression? From previous sheet, there are two cases. When h is greater than q, the covariance is 0. And next case is h is less than or equal to q, and this is the covariance, right? So that's what I'm going to substitute here. So when h is less than or equal to q, it is sigma square summation I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I plus h, and when h is greater than q, the covariance is 0. So now if you remember what is rho h, the ACF, that is nothing but covariance between xt and xt plus h divided by variance of xt. Now what is variance of xt? In this expression, wherever h is there, I should substitute 0. So that is nothing but gamma naught is equal to covariance between xt and xt. So that is nothing but variance of xt. So what is it from this equation? It is sigma square I is equal to 0 to q because h is 0, alpha I into alpha I, so that is alpha I square. So now what is the final expression for rho h? So it is here. So if you divide this term by this term, sigma square gets cancelled. So you have I is equal to 0 to q minus h, alpha I plus h whole divided by I is equal to 0 to q alpha I square if h is less than or equal to q, 0 if h is greater than q. So this is the expression for the ACF of MAQ process. So if they ask you only the autocovariance function of MAQ process, you should stop here. So this is the expression for autocovariance function of MAQ process. So that is also denoted as gamma h. So this is the expression for ACF, that is rho h for the MAQ process.